This is the Patriots Drive Podcast.
We are all Patriots.
Where we discuss, analyze, and answer questions to all things happening in the NFL and with our New England Patriots. Now, here's your host, Cole Kelly.
Let's go!
Welcome into another edition of the Patriots Drive Podcast. We got a big one on hand today. We got record predictions, season predictions. We're going to go through game by game down the entire Patriots schedule. Then we're going to hop into the preview of the Miami Dolphins. Patriots take on the Dolphins in week 1 on the road down in Miami. They traveled yesterday down to Miami to get acclimated to the weather and all that stuff. So they had their first practice today. We got injury report for you guys, some updates on that stuff. So a lot of stuff today, but I'm here with my co-host, Jace Campbell. How's it going, Jace?
Let's go. Football's here. Week 1, baby. It's time. So I'm excited. What Dolphins player was it that tweeted, because the Patriots traveled down early, they said something, they're like, that's not going to help you or something, or
Oh, no.
I forget who it was, but you got the trash talking going, division game, week 1 in a place that we always seem to struggle as a team. So it'll be a fun one. I'm excited to see how this team responds after, a lot of things that they needed to improve off of through OTAs in the preseason. And then now it's live football. And so we'll see our starters for the whole game and see if they can, put it together for multiple drives, because they seem to struggle in just having 1 or 2, maybe 3 drives in preseason games. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm dang excited for some meaningful football and, for it to be time for Patriots football again.
Yeah, I mean, certainly hope that they can improve on the things from preseason and how they looked and actually put together a full game of solid complementary football. And hopefully they've just been holding back some of the things that they actually want to do and just working out the tweaks, and hopefully they're firing on all cylinders. I'll be surprised, but I'm excited to be able to preview an actual team, actual opponent. We missed these as well. Pat Scout, we missed you being here too.
We're gonna have to get our hot takes ready if Pat Scout's in here.
I know, geez.
We still have the
any
graphics,
prepared, but yeah, so it's we're back. We're back to week 1, getting back to feels like we're getting back into the groove of things. When we were making some of the graphics for today and stuff like that a little while ago, it just feels like we're getting back into the swing of things and back into football season. So it feels good.
For sure. So how we're going to kind of structure this episode. This is a little different than most of our pregame episodes. We have to do our season predictions. So we have record predictions, Mac Jones's predictions, rushing leaders, receiving leader, sack leader, interception leader, and then of course answering your guys' comments on all that stuff. Then we'll get into more of a game preview where we're going to have pick'ems, over-unders, stuff like that. The Patriots score, Patriots over-under. Usually we will have other NFL games. We try to hit on the Tuesday or Thursday night games. The primetime ones, of course, maybe 1 at each time slot, other than the Patriots, and we kind of have a running total with that. But we won't get to that today since we have so much other Patriots stuff to preview. But let's jump right into it. Cole, do you want to start off with the player stats, I'm assuming, right? Or do we want to go with the schedule?
Let's do the schedule. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to pull up the Patriots schedule on the website or if we just want to read it from here. But
let's just read it from here.
You want to just read it just week by week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pull it up at the end, do you think?
Yeah, we'll pull it up.
Our final one. Okay.
Yeah.
So week 1, Pats Dolphins. Who you got in that one and why?
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll get into this more with our game preview, but it sucks to say. I wish New England could come out and get a win right off the bat, but New England always seems to struggle early in the year, and they always seem to struggle in Miami. And I wish it was anyone else but Miami, because we have such a hard time beating them. And I hate Tua, and I hate Tyreek Hill, and I hate, some other players on that team. But I find it hard for New England to travel down to Miami week 1, deal with that heat, and, come out with a victory. So I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think New England will figure out some of the deficiencies that we saw in the preseason games, but I have a hard time picking them off of what we saw. If they were playing really good football in the preseason and, there wasn't questions on the offensive line, maybe I'd say, I see a win coming here, but there's too many question marks coming out of week 1 coming out of the 3 weeks of the preseason and going into week 1 that I just don't know if I feel comfortable giving the Patriots a win right off the bat.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, everything you said there, basically just usually the heat in Miami. I know they're going down early to get acclimated, but it almost worries me that their issues are real within the heat and that they're already going to have excuses of, oh, this heat, like we tried to go down Tuesday, it still didn't work. I don't know. The Dolphins added so much talent. I feel like we kind of stayed stationary this year between losing JC Jackson. We added Devonte Parker, traded away Shaq Mason, have a rookie starting guard now, whole new offense. It's a ton of changes. Also, Dolphins are going through a ton of changes, but they seem to look a little more polished and like they're at a further along stage than the Patriots are in their building of this new offense. They have Mike McDaniels, who is a great offensive mind, and we have Matt Patricia and Joe Judge trying to install this offense. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, not to start off on a negative note, but week 1 against the Dolphins is always a tough one, especially when it's in Miami. So I got a loss for that one.
Yeah, and you look at the changes New England's going through compared to the changes that the Dolphins are going through. You want to talk about opposite ends of the spectrum. Miami got way better this year. They traded a ton of picks. They get Tyreek Hill to help Tua. Jalen Waddle's only going to be better. They bring in Chase Edmunds, who I don't think is an incredible back, but he's really capable on third downs, can catch the ball in the backfield. And then they still have a lot of great corners on and defensive players and stuff. And then you look at New England, we lost our number 1 corner. We've had offensive line issues. We lost 2 of our starting offensive linemen, both guards right there. So it's a little scary. You look at them and their improvements they've made. And, we got swept by them last year, and you say, that's not looking too good for New England coming into week 1.
Yeah, they also added a great tackle, which their offensive line has struggled in the past. So even though we seem to not be able to take advantage of their bad offensive line, they do have a offensive line issue. And but on to week 2, Patriots at Steelers, another one on the road. Who do you got for this one?
Yeah, I have New England winning this one. Pittsburgh has a really good defense, and Najee Harris scares the crap out of me because he's so versatile, but there's still a ton of questions on the offensive line, and whether they start Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, I think that Bill Belichick, knowing his track record, if they go with Pickett, which they're going with Trubisky week 1, so I don't see them changing week 2, but I find Bill Belichick and the defense, having an edge at this game, and I think Pittsburgh's still going to be a good team, and they're always going to be tough. The New England and Pittsburgh rivalry is always something that you have to look out for, especially going into Pittsburgh. But I see New England going in and winning this game. Mac Jones having a big day out there. Maybe, you can get the run game going. And, with the offensive line struggles with Pittsburgh too last year, maybe you're able to create some pressure on a quarterback that, isn't very good to start off with. Maybe you can get some pressure in his face. You can make some dumb turnovers early for our defense and get short fields for the offense. So I got New England winning, being 1-1 through week 2.
Yep, I have the same thing there. My biggest concern is TJ Watt off the edge against Isaiah Wynn or even Trent Brown, but I feel like he lines up more on the right tackle. So that's terrifying. That is certainly terrifying. They got a great defense. TJ Watt could have broke the sack record last year if he didn't get injured for 4 or 5 games, missing those. So that's one of the biggest things, especially with a struggling offensive line. You got a defense like that and a defensive line like they have. That's not ideal. So I'm worried about that. Like you said, Najee Harris is a beast. I think Trubisky is going to be better than some people think. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger was awful like the past year or 2, and that team still won, I think, 9 games last year. So I don't see why this team can't be pretty solid. I think their defense is going to carry them. They got some weapons on the outside. They got Johnson. They got Claypool. They got Pickens, who they just grabbed this year. So they got some weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Like you said, the O-line is a question mark, but I don't think this is going to be an easy game like some people think. But I got the Patriots going to 1-1. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys click the like button, subscribe, and drop your comments. Yeah. We're going to go game by game. Drop your comments if you guys want to of who you guys think is going to win each one of these games. Play along with us and give us your record predictions down below. But on to week 3, Patriots' first home game of the year against the Baltimore Ravens. Who you got?
Yeah, this one's tough. I love Baltimore. I think that they're always a tough team to play with Lamar Jackson. Now, I don't know if Lamar Jackson can win them a Super Bowl, but he is always going to be tough to defend. Now, we have an X factor in Kyle Duggar, and New England always seems to get the better of Baltimore. But this is the stretch that we always see New England struggle the most with. They started off horrible last year. They always seem to still be getting up to speed in September. So I have them going with a loss right here also. This is tough. Lamar Jackson's hard. Our linebackers are going to have a tough time, and it can't just be on Kyle Duggar. Like, we're going to have to create interior pressure. We're going to have to be able to keep him in the pocket. Kyle Duggar has to be able to go out and guard. So there's a lot of things that have to happen to slow down Lamar Jackson. And although New England's been successful doing it, I think maybe their luck runs out here, and they're still getting into the groove of things with how they usually play in September. So I actually have them losing to the Ravens in the home opener, which sucks to say, but I mean, New England was all their losses early last year came at home too, and it was brutal.
Yeah, I think they're going to start off the year slow again, especially what we've seen in the preseason. I got a loss at the first home game against the Ravens. I know we've had our success against the Ravens at some points, and like you said, Kyle Duggar, a great piece to stop Lamar, but in general, the Ravens are going to be a healthier football team. I think J.K. Dobbins should be back and ready to go by week 3. So he's a factor. Their run game is going to be a factor in this game. And they added a couple pieces. I know they got rid of Marquise Brown, but Rashad Bateman's got another year under his belt coming into this year. So I think the Ravens are going to be a tough team. I think they're going to be a tough opponent. They always have a good defense and great running game, especially with Lamar being back there. So Mark Andrews, another weapon to look out for. I think the Ravens are good. So I got another loss, or I got a loss in week 3 for the Patriots.
Yeah, and Baltimore averaged 145 rushing yards last year. I think they were 3rd or 4th in the league, and New England allowed the 8th most at 126. So, I know this is early in the season and our run defense could be severely improved, but I mean, we expect a lot of good things out of Barmore and a big jump from him, but is it going to be that improved to make New England a top 10 rushing defense? I guess we'll have to wait and find out, but that's what scares me is we've had a hard time stopping the run against a lot of teams, and this might be one of the best ones, and they're willing to do it all game. Like, their strong suit is running the ball, and they're going to run and run and run, and they're going to make you stop it. So if New England can do that, I'd feel confident, but that's still a question mark, so I can't give them a win on this game.
Yeah, and then got the next week 4, traveling to Lambeau Field. That's going to be a great environment for these guys to see. Lambeau Field's one of the most legendary places to play in the NFL right now. So week 4 against the Packers, who you got?
Yeah, another tough one here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I know he lost his number 1 target, but Romeo Doubs looks good. Christian Watson's good. A.J. Dillon has high expectations with Aaron Jones out of the backfield. We all know what Jair Alexander can do. And Devarius Campbell's a really good linebacker for him. So I hate to say having New England start out 1-3. It's what we saw last year. And I will say this, I do have a lot of wins coming up because my record prediction at the end of the year is not as bad as it looks now. But I have them starting off 1-3. I mean, this is a tough game going into Lambeau Field. You don't have to deal with the cold like you normally would, which usually isn't a factor for the Patriots because they play and practice in the cold too. But going up to Lambeau, Aaron Rodgers, the uncertainty at the secondary spot, and you're still going to be dealing with some young guys. Now, I have high hopes for Marcus Jones, Jack Jones, guys like that, Sean Wade, but you're going against one of the greatest quarterbacks in the past 15 years. And, he's super experienced, and there's not going to be a lot of things that he's going to just give to our defensive back. So that scares me a little bit, especially with their emerging rookie receivers.
Yeah, the Aaron Rodgers factor is huge. They lost a bunch of guys in the offseason, kind of like you mentioned. Devontae's gone. They got a good defense. You mentioned some of their pieces they got there. And then Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. It's just Aaron Rodgers, that home field, the Packers, they're a great prestigious organization. I think you got to take that into consideration. And I got them losing this one as well in week 4 and starting off 1-3. It's not ideal. Light Shadows agrees with us here. Has a 1-3 record the first 4 games. And then let's answer Carlos's question here before we move on to the next ones. He said, "What's up, guys? What's up, Carlos? Do you think the Patriots' run defense will be worse, the same, or better?" He says, "I personally think it'll be the same or slightly better."
Yeah, I hope they get better because we only expect Barmore to get better. I think we have young linebackers that can fly around. I think Mac Wilson will be a huge addition for the run game and the pass game. Raekwon McMillan has had a ton of high hopes or high praises since last year when he tore his ACL. Gotcha, I think, is going to be better than last year. Obviously, Bill does too. That's why he gave him an extension. So I think they're going to be better. I don't know how much better. And that's not saying a lot because our run defense has been pretty bad the last 2 years. So that's not saying a lot, but I do think that with the guys that we have, that we can't get any worse and they have to play better this year. So I'm going to say I kind of agree with you. Slightly better. They have the potential to be really good, but I don't know how to predict that right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be slightly better as well. Obviously, pass defense is a different thing with JC gone, but as far as the run defense goes, I think we hope Barmore, like you said, takes a step in the right direction. Gotcha, we just gave that extension. You hope he continues to be more consistent than he was last season, although clearly they didn't think he was the problem if they extended him. So you hope to have more consistency, and then having a guy like Anthony Jennings, if he can set the edge on that side and be better than a guy like, I guess, Van Noy was last year, that'd be great. That's kind of the question mark, and that's why we wanted Trey Flowers here, was because he's a guy who can set the edge, and that is huge when you're trying to stop the run, especially against some of these specific teams and schemes. So I think it's going to be a little bit better, just because the numbers kind of made our run defense look even maybe worse than it was last year. So I think it will be just a little bit better, but probably around the same caliber of run defense.
For sure. Well, let's move on. Next game. So we both of us have the Patriots starting off 1-3. Tough first schedule. Let's move on. Detroit. In Detroit right here. What do you have?
With the red jerseys, I got to take a win in the red jerseys. First one's back at home. I think the Lions. I mentioned this a couple days ago on Pass Discuss when we did a video. I think the Lions video. I mean, the Lions game is going to be a tougher game than people expect, just because they're a tough, gritty, hard-nosed football team. Dan Campbell instills toughness and fight in that team, and they don't give up easy. So I don't think they're going to lay down. I don't think you're going to beat them 50-10 like you did the Jaguars last year. I think they're going to put up a fight, and at the end of the day, I think the Patriots will win the game, and I think they'll come out on top. But I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park like some people think. The Lions' record stinks every year, but at the same time, the toughness is real that he's instilling in that team, and I believe in Detroit a little bit.
Yeah, I do too. I think Detroit is going to be one of the grittiest teams, and it's going to be a hard-nosed football game. Dan Campbell will have them ready, and I expect the Patriots to be ready too. If they're coming into this game 1-3 like we have them slotted at right now, I think they have to be ready, because this is one of those teams that, yeah, they're probably not going to be the best talent-wise, but they can slip up they can beat anyone at any given day. That's how, these hard-nosed teams are that don't have much talent, but they're going to play every game. So I do have a win here for the Patriots. I 100% agree with you. I don't have much faith in Jared Goff. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a good emerging receiver. Jameson Williams won't be healthy by then. Yeah, DeAndre Swift's a tough back to guard. Jameson Williams won't be healthy by then. Aiden Hutchinson will be interesting to see what he does and, how he gives fits to our offensive line. Penei Sewell on there will be great to, maybe counteract Judon or who's ever over there. So I like the youth of this Detroit Lions team, but I don't have the Patriots losing to them. I think this, when you're 1-3 sitting here traveling to a team that you should beat, you got to figure out a way to win. I think New England does that in week 5.
What's that corner that they drafted number 3 overall who got hurt?
Jeff Okudah.
Yeah, Okudah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Anyways, on to the next week against the Browns, week 6. That one is on the road. I got the Patriots beating the Browns. Deshaun Watson will not be playing in that game. Another game that won't be as easy as it looks. The Browns have so much talent on that team. I wouldn't be surprised if they steal a couple wins from some teams here. But Patriots beating Browns without Deshaun, I think that's hopefully is going to be the case here. But I got 2 wins in a row here for the Pats.
Yeah, I just realized I said at Detroit. That's totally in New England. I don't know what I was looking at, but at Cleveland, Deshaun Watson's a huge loss for them. He gives us fits no matter who's on his team. Like, he is a tough guy to play against. His ability to move in the pocket, still create with his legs, whether he's running it or extending and throwing it down the field. And then Nick Chubb and them are always a good run game. But New England beat a better Cleveland team last year, in my opinion, especially without Deshaun Watson. So they beat a better team right there. And I don't know if the addition of Amari Cooper makes them that much better. They still lost a ton of guys. So I have a win here too. This is, getting into the run that I was talking about, but I have them beating Cleveland at Cleveland.
Yes, I do as well. Let's Block Banks said, "What's what record you guys got so far?" I missed it. So far I have lost to the Dolphins, win against the Steelers, lost against the Ravens and Packers, and then wins against Detroit and the Browns. So 3-3. I think you have 3-3 as well, right?
I do. Yep. We both have 3-3.
Okay. Yeah. So we're both 3-3 so far through 6 weeks. Then week 7, Red Patriot. We'll touch on that in just a minute. We're almost to that game.
Yep.
Week 7, we got the Bears on Monday Night Football. We're playing at home. So I got the Patriots winning this one again, making it 3 in a row. Justin Fields, the Bears organization is horrendous. So yep. I got Mac over Justin Fields in this one, and just kind of the Patriots organization over the Bears in general.
Totally agree. I've never been a major believer in Justin Fields. I think he has talent, but I've never believed that he can, fix the Chicago Bears franchise. So I agree. They traded for N'Keal Harry. That's all you got to say about him. Like they were the team desperate enough to trade for N'Keal Harry. So I'm going to give New England a primetime victory here.
And then Pats travel to New York, week 8. I got the Pats winning that one as well.
Yep, both have us on 4-0. Zach Wilson looks like he might be healthy for week 1, but they did name Flacco the starter, so we'll see how his rehab continues to go there. I expect him to be playing by this game, and there's a lot of hype around them. Breece Hall's good. Elijah Moore's expected to have a big year for them and the receiving core, but Mekhi Becton just went down, another season-ending injury for him. So I just see New England. They always have the Jets number, and they're still a young team. They have a lot of hype around them. People are saying that they could be the team that gets the Bengals type leap. I don't see that. I have the Patriots winning this one.
I agree. On to the Colts. Last week before the bye week, I got the Patriots losing this one. I think it's going to be a close one. I'll be at that game, so that'll be fun. But Jonathan Taylor, he's a beast. Matt Ryan is a more competent quarterback than Carson Wentz. So if he can just be average this year, I think the Colts are a much better team. That defense is good. That offense is good. Pittman's going to take another step forward. I like this Colts team. I think the Patriots will lose this one, but it'll be close.
Yeah, this is the same thing with Baltimore. They ran the ball all over us last year, and Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line are still intact. Michael Pittman's going to step up, and they have a better quarterback in Matt Ryan than they did in Carson Wentz. So maybe they don't have to give the ball to Jonathan Taylor every time in the red zone and be so scared that Carson Wentz is going to throw a pick six or an interception and they can't get points. So this one's tough. You'd like to see them get a win and make it 5 straight going into the bye, but I mean, I agree. I have them going into the bye with a loss.
Yeah. So we both have 5 and 4 heading into the bye week. It's crazy how bad the Patriots played in that Colts game. They still almost won. It was insane. I really thought they had a chance there, and then Jonathan Taylor just was
stabbed us Patriots fans in the heart.
It was pretty sad. Light Shadow says Pats beat the Lions, Browns, Bears, Jets, but it's possible they drop one of these games. I agree. I think you always have to factor in no win in the NFL is easy very often. I mean, there's some teams that are just horrendous that you can kind of walk over, but for the most part, you got to earn every win. There's teams that fight. There's teams that like to play spoiler, but you also got to account for maybe the Patriots playing spoiler for a team as well. So I think this is going to be a good stretch for them. Hopefully they build some confidence and is kind of a warm-up game for some of the tests they're going to have later in the season, which we'll be getting into shortly, because that stretch at the end of the season is tough. So after the bye week, Pats play the Jets again, this time at home. Jets are also going to be coming off their bye, I believe.
Yep.
I got the Patriots winning again. It's the Jets. I think they have a ton of talent. I just don't think they're quite there yet. I think in a couple of years, though, they're going to be up here in the division with the rest of the teams, because they got so much young talent. It's unless the Jets just continue to be the Jets, they got to start winning at some point. You know what I mean? They have drafted so many good, talented players, and they killed it again this year in the draft, adding Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall as well. I think they're not there yet.
Yeah, they probably had the best draft. When you talk about adding Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, they trade up for Jermaine Johnson, who I would have loved for New England to take, which they probably wouldn't have anyways. And then Breece Hall in the second round, who they trade up again for and get him. Yeah, I love this young core, but I don't see them beating New England. This is the one team I have New England sweeping in the AFC East. So I have them coming off a bye week with a win, which I believe would be the first time in 5 years, right? I think that we've lost out of our bye week like 4 or 5 years in a row. So that's something
crazy, because people were talking about for years how Belichick is always, when he has more time, he's unbeatable, but the record kind of doesn't say that. We've struggled out of the bye week. I don't know why.
Yes, for sure. And then we had it right here. Red Patriot asked, how exciting is it that we're playing on Thanksgiving night for the first time in 10 years since the butt fumble? So let's get into it. At Minnesota on Thanksgiving, Thursday night. This will be a super fun game. This isn't the other one we're wearing the Reds for, is it? No, it's
Bills.
The Bills next week. Yep.
Yeah, on Monday Night Football.
So anyways, let's get the
Thursday Night Football against the Bills.
Yes. So
next week.
Let's get the score prediction right here. Thanksgiving, big game.
I'm so excited for this game. First off, playing on Thanksgiving, that's going to be super exciting, and it's later, so it's not like it's in the middle of like well, for your time zone, it might be kind of in the middle of dinner and stuff like that. But for me, it's Thanksgiving. You get to eat all the great food. You have pie and all these desserts and all that. And then you just get to go lay in bed and watch the Patriots play football. And then we'll have a podcast at midnight. So we'll have to get out of bed and do it again. But no, I love it. I think it's exciting. The Vikings are one of those teams that is just fun. Their offense is fun to watch. They got some really exciting players. They're a fun fantasy football team to have some of their guys like Jefferson I've had for the past couple of years, and Dalvin Cook I had for the end of the year last year. They're a fun team to watch. What's going to be awesome is my two cousins are both Vikings fans, and they're going to be coming over for Thanksgiving. So hopefully they stick around. That'll be fun to watch.
Hopefully they don't stick around because it's that bad. Hopefully they don't want to be.
Hopefully they leave.
Yes.
Hopefully they leave because it's going awful for them. No, but it's so that's going to be another added fun thing for me, just on a personal note. But I'm excited. We haven't had a Thanksgiving game in a while, and it's always fun to play in prime time, especially when it's on a holiday. I know it's not the best for the guys sometimes, but I think Thanksgiving might be a little different where some of them enjoy it a little more than times like maybe Christmas and stuff like that. I feel like that's more that's a tougher thing to miss. I feel like.
Yeah, I'd probably rather play on Thanksgiving. We play on Thanksgiving occasionally if we make the playoffs in the FCS, and a lot of college football teams do. So I'd rather play on Thanksgiving. For me, the thing that makes Thanksgiving special is football. I love the food, don't get me wrong, but 3 football games and tons of college games like that's what I love about Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So, and obviously, I'm thankful for the people that came over and the food and stuff. Like, I'm thankful for that. I'm not saying it's a worthless holiday, but for me, because I love football so much, that's what makes Thanksgiving fun. It's a day you can just sit there, eat some great food, and and maybe you guys do that anyways. Maybe you just smoke food every Sunday and enjoy Patriots games. But that's awesome. But I have a win here. I have a win here. I don't know if you said it. I guess
I forgot to predict it. I didn't even predict the game yet, actually.
Did you have a win?
I did. I have a win. I think it's gonna be a close one, but I have a win. Patriots pulling it out on prime time, and Mac, Judon, and a couple of those other guys eating turkey legs.
Yes,
as the night closes, that'll be awesome. But
I agree with Carlos here. This is like I feel like Minnesota's the flip of the Lions. They have the talent, they have the team and the offensive firepower to be really dang good. But for some reason, and sometimes Kirk Cousins and them always find a way to trick off the game. So I agree. Primetime game. Give New England the win here. That will be a fun game. The one thing that does suck is that New England only has 4 days of rest from the Jets game to the Thursday night game. We'll see how that factors in, but I'm excited for that.
Also, yeah, good point here. Primetime Kirk. So
you like that? You like that? Yeah.
But I agree with Carlos here. It's funny if you look at. I think there's some type of stat that was like their record if you take out the last couple minutes of a game or whatever it was, and they were dominant or in 1-score games or whatever it was. They are a really good football team, and they just find ways to blow it. I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if the coaching change will help with that. I don't know if it's something with the quarterback they have or the players. I think Kirk is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL, though, because the numbers he puts up, I know they have great offensive pieces, but the numbers he puts up, everybody hates on Kirk so much, and he's not a horrible quarterback like people make him out to be. He puts up big numbers every year. I'm sure other quarterbacks, like if Mac Jones had Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, and some of those other guys that they have, I think we might see a similar thing. But I think Kirk Cousins is more talented than some people give him credit for.
Yeah, since 2015, he's only had 1 season under 4,000 yards. 4,000 yards is a pretty big accomplishment in the NFL for any quarterback. So I agree with you there. But let's move on. Home game. This will be on Thursday night too. So 2 Thursday night games back to back, which is interesting, but it's good that we're going to get 7 days of rest after the short week. But Buffalo comes into town, a tough one. The Super Bowl favorite right now, and a lot of firepower on that team. Added Von Miller, and New England split with them last year. So what do you got here for the Bills game?
I got the Bills.
Can you say that again? Say a little bit louder for the people in the back.
I got the Patriots win, though.
No, you don't.
I got the Bills. It's just they're in 2 different classes right now, and until the Patriots can prove us something in this season that this offensive scheme and that the defense can hold up, they're Super Bowl favorites for the reason right now. I got the Bills winning this one.
Yeah, and
it's a shame. This is a horrible time to wear the red jerseys. Why wouldn't you wear them on Thanksgiving against the Vikings?
Agreed.
Who have cool purple colors too. They could wear the color rush. That'd be sick. That'll be sick, but no, we got to wear it against the Bills and lose.
Or we whoop their ass in it. Who knows? But no, I agree with you. The thing is we're thinking of the Patriots in the state they are right now. I mean, we don't know where they're going to be in 5 weeks from now. I mean, so this could totally change it. We don't know. I mean, I said this before, injuries on both sides of the ball or on both teams too. We don't know what's going to happen. So this game's a toss up for me in New England. If we're going to take one from Buffalo, I think it's in New England. So it's this week. But right now, schedule prediction, I have a loss here too. This is tough. I mean, Josh Allen gives us fits no matter what. Gabriel Davis is an emerging receiver. Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox just got signed to a big extension. They added Von Miller. They have a great secondary. This is a tough game to win. So I have Buffalo too.
No faith. All right, Patriots Cardinals in Arizona. I got the Patriots. I know the Cardinals are a good team. I know they'll have D-Hop back by then, but late season Kyler Murray always seems to be more like early last season Zach Wilson or like a Mark Sanchez or like any of those guys. Sam Darnold when he was seeing ghosts. Just Kyler Murray is just bad at the end of the year. He's just worn down. He's a small dude, and by then he's taken too many hits. Maybe they'll be more aware of that, keep him healthy for the entire season, and then that'll be a much tougher game. But Kyler, when he's hurt towards the end of the season, he just doesn't play like the same guy. He's not the same electric quarterback he is when he's healthy early in the year, and they go undefeated for the first 10 weeks. Yeah. So I'm assuming that there's going to be some wear and tear, and the level of play will be dropped off a little bit. That team is really good, though. They got a lot of these teams are playing some good offensive pieces. D-Hop, Rondell Moore. I know Christian Kirk left, but I think they have Zach Ertz still, and they got a couple guys in their defense, Budda Baker, JJ Watt. So another tough game, but I got the Patriots winning this one.
Yeah, give me the W here too. I agree. Arizona late in the season is really, really bad for some reason. They look like a Super Bowl contender every year, probably through 8 weeks. And then the back half of the year, they really seem to stink it up. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots winning here.
Yeah. Light Shadow says, I'm just hoping we make the Bills punt. Forget about the win. That's facts.
Yes.
Me too.
Please.
That'd be nice. For safety will look different after the Bills Cardinals games. Yeah. Yep. Well, I think we'll see a lot of different looks with the safety depth that we have on this team. I think you and I were talking about it the other day that we might see all 4 or 5 safeties on the field at once at one point. You never know, just with the different skill sets they have. But moving on, staying on that side of the country, Las Vegas playing against the Raiders versus Josh McDaniels. I got the Raiders. I mean, they got so much talent. They get a ton of talent. Josh McDaniels, former head coaches, never goes well for some reason against the Patriots. You'd think it'd be the other way around, but it's not. Raiders win this one, and that's what I got.
Yeah, Devonte Adams, I mean, he cooked Jalen Mills one day, and then Jalen Mills had a good day against him. You're not going to continually slow down Devonte Adams. And Darren Waller is very tough to guard if he's healthy. And Hunter Renfrow is a short white receiver, and Josh McDaniels has made millions of dollars off of short white receivers in his offensive system. So this
take
is
him
be
in fantasy
game.
football, is what you're saying.
Yes. But this is weird. Like, when you look at college football and you look at Nick Saban, none of his assistants beat him until Kirby Smart beat him last year. I feel like that's the exact opposite with Bill Belichick, Vrabel, Flores. I mean, we'll see with McDaniels, guys that coached under Belichick.
Even Patricia beat him.
True. Yes. Oh my gosh, he did. So they seem to have his number. It's crazy. So I agree. This will be tough too for New England because they don't fly back from Arizona to New England. They're just staying on that side of the country because it's only going to be 6 days of rest 6 days of rest in between because it goes from a Monday night game to a Sunday night game. So they're just going to stay on the West Coast so they don't have to, deal with jet lag, the time change. So that's going to be a tough road trip right there. I don't know how that's going to go, but I have them losing to the Raiders.
That is 4 primetime games in a row. Thursday,
Yep.
Monday, Sunday.
Primetime Pats, baby.
Look who decided to show up.
Boston headline.
Waits till the halfway through the week 1 episode. Unbelievable.
Wow. At least you showed up. We're happy to have you, Boston headline.
That's true.
Good for you to be back. So
Light shadows. Pats lose to the Bills. Think we beat the Cardinals, but I'm not confident in this one. Yeah, that's going to be a toss-up game. It really all depends how the Cardinals are playing. If they're playing like early season Cardinals, probably a loss. If they're playing like late season Cardinals, probably a win. So we'll see. Carlos says he'll be at the game in Vegas. Hopefully he's not paying to watch them lose. I think even if they lose, that stadium, that experience, I'm sure is going to be a blast. So hopefully you'll still enjoy it, even if they don't come out on top. But next one,
that's the one game I'm trying to get to, depending on my football schedule, because it's 5 hours away from me. I'm trying to get to that game, so that would be fun. I went to the Pac-12 championship in Allegiant, crazy good stadium, so that will be a fun game.
Yeah, that would be a crazy one to go to. It's a little too far for me. I think it's probably more than
it's like a 6-hour flight for you.
Yeah, probably at least. After that, we got Pats back home. Christmas Eve against the Bengals. I got a loss in that one.
Yeah, this is tough. Like we mentioned, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. That's a deadly combo. They got better on the defensive side. They got better on the offensive line too, and that was one of their biggest deficiencies. So
T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, like you said, offensive line revamped. That's a good football team.
Tough game right there. So yep, I have a loss there also.
Dolphins. New Year's Day. I mean, just so many big dates for the Patriots.
That's crazy.
You might be surprised. I got the Patriots winning this one. I got the weather factor, the weather being a factor for the Dolphins, as it usually is for the Patriots late in the year. I'm hoping that they're used to the snow and Miami is not. They're still living in their 85-degree sun in January, and hopefully that helps the Patriots out. I'm sure the Dolphins will be playing in some other cold environments as well to get used to it, but I'm hoping the Patriots get a little advantage here and maybe can run the ball and do their thing and slow down some of these speedy receivers. Hopefully Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill's legs are going to be a little slower in the 30-degree temperatures in Foxborough.
I will say I did know you were going to pick the Patriots to go 9-8, but I did not think that we would have the exact same predictions. So
we've
been
the same on it.
I don't see them beating Buffalo in Buffalo.
I don't either.
And I think that if you don't want to get swept by Miami, this right now at our both of us have them at 9-8, finishing the year with a win against Miami, then losing to Buffalo. That's still probably not enough to get into the playoffs with how loaded the AFC is on, the up top to bottom. You got the AFC West that 3 teams might get in, and the fourth one might be pushing for the other spot in the wild card. So I don't know. I have them winning against Miami, and then maybe they go into Buffalo and it's like a must-win game, but I don't see them going into Buffalo and doing that unless Buffalo's resting their starters.
Yeah, that was what I was
thinking. But we don't know about that right now.
You can't predict that
yet. You can't predict that. You can't. Maybe they're fighting for the 1 seed, and it's totally different now. Not the top 2 seeds get a bye, so only the number 1 seed gets a bye. So maybe they do have to play their guys for that. But if they have it locked up like a lot of people think that they will, that might not be the case.
Hopefully the Bills are the one fighting for a playoff spot, and we're resting our starters because we have the 1 seed locked up.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the case, though.
Yes.
Red Patriot is going to the home opener against the Ravens, and he's 2-0 at Gillette. Bring the good luck. Okay. Well,
we need it.
Go to every game.
Yes.
Go to every game. I don't care. On the road, home. Just you got to make the sacrifice for the Patriots this year. Yes. We need to get some wins. We need to get some wins on our belt.
For sure.
So that brings us to our final record predictions. I did not think we were going to have the same thing either. I thought
there would be a little variation. Like maybe you'd pick a loss against Minnesota and maybe get a win again. At first I had New England beating Cincinnati, and the more I thought about it, the more probably not. So
yeah, I think some Super Bowl teams sometimes regress, but it just seems like they added more pieces and it's a young team. So I don't think there's going to be much regression there. I think the Bengals are going to be a contender this year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's move on. We still got to get to our game preview, so we're going to try to fly through this. Keep the comments coming. Keep liking. Make sure you guys subscribe to the content. But let's get into our season predictions for stat lines. Let's go into the quarterback position first. A huge uptick that we're hoping to see in Mac's stats from 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions last year, I believe. So pretty similar in yards here for me and Cole. He has 4,250 yards. I have 4,200 on the dot. I do have a little bit more. I have him breaking the 30 touchdown mark and staying under the 10 interception mark. So what are your thoughts on your predictions, Cole, right here? And, how do you see this playing out?
Yeah, I kind of have improvement in all areas. I think the touchdowns weren't as close to yours, just because I feel like the Patriots at the end of the day still like to run the ball at the goal line. And if they can be more of a passing threat in the red zone, I think he'll get more touchdowns, obviously. But I also think if they're a little more versatile, it'll make it easier to run the ball in the red zone, and they'll still get a lot of touchdowns there. So I have a couple less interceptions. I still think with a new offense, maybe with Devonte Parker being a 50-50 ball receiver, maybe Mac takes some more risks with the deep ball this year. I think some of that stuff might lead to just a couple less interceptions, but overall, I think that he's going to be I think he's going to be an improved quarterback from what he was last year, and I have him improving in each one of these stat categories.
Yeah, and as much as people don't want to admit it, he has an improved receiving core. Like, we only expect Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar to get better. Once Tyquan Thornton gets healthy, hopefully he, has an impact on the second half of the season. Devonte Parker, if he's fully healthy and playing all 17 games, I expect him to have a huge year. Jonnu Smith can't play any worse than he did last year. And I think Ramondre is going to be a great pass catching back out of the backfield this year and running the ball. So I really do think he has a better receiving core. I don't know if it's, elite. It's definitely not elite. I should say that, but he has a better receiving core. And if all these guys stay healthy and, play up to the expectations they have, he'll easily break the 30 touchdowns in my mind.
Yeah, I hope that's the case. That'd be nice. Now we'll touch on this comment from Block Banks in just a second as we get to more of our season predictions. But so this is going to be our predictions for the rushing yard leader, the receiving yards leader, sack leader, and interception. So we'll start off with the rushing. We both agree Ramondre Stevenson. Damian Harris, obviously, might be the favorite for some people. I just think Ramondre, I don't know. I like Ramondre a lot. I think he has a higher ceiling than Damian Harris at the end of the day because of his receiving and rushing ability. And I think that he's going to be more of a 3-down player than Damian Harris will be this season. So I think Ramondre might start taking over as the lead back at some point, maybe later in the year, especially if they don't think they're going to bring Damian Harris back. Maybe they'll end up using Damian and just trying to, if they're not going to bring it back, just run him into the ground, which is not great to say, but that's kind of how some teams approach things. Unfortunately, it is a business and they want to get the most out of their player. But I like Ramondre a lot, and I think he's going to have a good year.
Yeah, massive role for Ramondre because a lot of us don't expect Damian Harris to be back. I don't see New England giving him the money unless he takes a discount. And so I see Ramondre both in rushing and pass catching. Depending on how long Ty Montgomery's out for, he'll have an extended role no matter what. And I think that he'll be great in it. He's more explosive than Damian Harris. Damian Harris probably runs harder, but if you're talking about, making guys miss in short spaces, and then being able to pull away from guys, I think Ramondre's done a great job at improving his stamina, his speed, quickness, stuff like that. So I have high hopes for Ramondre, and if you look at him, he's the future. So I think that he's going to have a big year, and he's going to lead the Patriots in rushing. And I agree with you. I think towards the end of the year, if him and Damian Harris are neck and neck, you're probably going to see Bill give the nod to Stevenson because, like I mentioned, he's going to be the guy that's going to be here for longer.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to receiving. I got Jacoby Myers. You got Devonte Parker. What's your reasoning for that?
Yeah, and I saw a comment down here. It was Andrew right here. Devonte Parker's never been healthy. Yeah, he's never been fully healthy, but he played in 14 games last year, so he only missed 3, which that's significant. He played in 16 the year before, so he only missed 1. That was all 16 because that was still the 17 game schedule. Wait, am I saying that right? No, it was the 16 game schedule in 19. So he played all of his games.
Every game.
He missed 5 in 18. He missed 3 in 17. He missed 1 in 16. So he's not missing a ton of time.
He's never not played at least 11 games.
Yes. And you go look at his stats. Like last year, he had 73 targets and 515 yards. So say that he plays the 7 games because it's a 17 game season, the extra 7 games that he missed, I fully expect him. So I have my stats. I have Parker at 900 yards. And when you look at him, he has the most talent on this team. He's a first-round draft pick for a reason. And when he did have a healthy season in only 16 games, he had 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. And Mac and him have had a great connection through camp, and he wanted to be here. That's the biggest thing is like he didn't get traded here just out of the Dolphins trying to get him away. Like he wanted to be here. His agent found a way to get him here, and he's been excited to be here. So I have Devonte Parker having a big year here. And just cross your fingers he stays healthy because if he stays healthy, he will have a big year. I can guarantee you that.
I would love to see that. I really want to see Devonte make a big difference this year. That would be awesome. I got Jacoby Myers, kind of more of a safe bet, just with Kendrick Bourne Question marks about him. I think Jacoby's Mr. Reliable. I think Devonte and Aguilar will benefit off the deep ball, more yards, obviously. But I think Jacoby's going to have a ton of receptions this year and be that underneath guy that we've always seen. And hopefully he can create after the catch a little better than he has his entire career so far, because that's a big aspect of his game that he can improve. And if he does that, he's going to continue to be a better and better receiver, because he gets open and he catches the football. It's just what he does afterwards isn't as impressive as it is for a guy like Kendrick Bourne or Jonnu Smith, guys like that. So Devonte, I got high hopes for him. I really hope he's the player that we expect him to be and know he can be when healthy. He's got to stay healthy and do his thing, and we'll see how the season plays out with his wide receiver group. But I am excited about a few of the different guys we got. Yeah. I don't think Warren's taking a step back. I'm not saying that. His training camp was very slow.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people concerned about that. I think he's more of a game player. I think he'll show up when the lights are on. But you got to at least pay attention to it and think, okay, maybe this new offense, maybe he's not going to have as good of a year, but I don't think he'll necessarily take a step back.
Yeah, and I kind of want to answer that question, and then this one: how great do you think Kendrick Bourne will be in his second year? If we didn't add Devonte Parker, this would be my next pick for receiving leader. I think he has the juice. He's elusive. He's a playmaker with the ball in his hands. He'd be my next pick, and I don't think he takes a step back at all. Like, I see him right around the 800-yard range like he was last year. But the reason for that is because there's a lot of other guys on the team. You got two great tight ends. I expect Jonnu Smith to be way more involved. Devonte Parker is going to take some targets away. Jacoby Myers needs to get targets because he's that good and reliable. So there's a lot of targets to be shared throughout this team, because although we don't have the top tier guy that's going to get 12, 15 targets a game, you're going to be throwing the ball probably 30, 40 times with Mac. Hopefully the run game is better than what it was, but if you are throwing it, and there's 4 or 5 guys plus tight ends that you can really throw the ball to probably 6 times a game. So I just don't see them as many opportunities for targets there with Kendrick Bourne. That's why I don't have him up there.
Yeah, I agree. This is tough because you got a lot of guys that are going to finish around the same mark. So it's not like for the Vikings, Justin Jefferson, you know what I mean? For guys like that. But this is a lot more even of a receiving core. There's not a true number one. It's more of a bunch of twos like we've kind of touched on. So next one, sack leader. And this leads right into this question wherever it went. There we go. From Block Banks. What do you think Barmore can be in year 2?
Yeah, I knew you'd pick Judon, so I threw a changeup in.
Judon's the easy answer.
Judon's the easy answer. And I think I went with Uche last year, and I don't expect Barmore to be right. But if there's a guy other than Judon, and Amfrey Jennings has shown a ton of great potential, I think that it's going to be Barmore. I really think I put 9 sacks down for him, and I think that Matt Judon passes that for sure. But I wanted to be a little different. I wanted to say that I think that Barmore can push to get 10 sacks this year. That's how explosive, that's how twitchy. And he was so close to so many sacks last year, but he just couldn't get them, man. He was like, second in all of rookies in pressures through all positions, like not just defensive tackles. Like, he was up there in pressures. I think he was at like 40 something. So I expect him to have more pressures, more sacks, capitalize on those opportunities. I have Barmore having a huge year. And although maybe I should have picked him as my true pick, I just wanted to be a little different and, highlight how good I think Barmore is going to be.
Yeah, I like Barmore a lot. A lot of hope in him. Could be the next great Patriot on this D line. I got a ton of confidence in his ability and what he can do. If he can just be a little more stout in the run game, he could be a great player for a long time for us. So I like what he can do. I think he applies a ton of pressure to the quarterback, like you mentioned some of those stats. I think it's just tough. It's a little bit tougher for a defensive tackle, I feel like, to get those numbers. It'll feel like it's a little easier for a guy on the edge, and Judon's just a beast. So hopefully, if he can sustain his success from the first half of the season through a whole season, I mean, you were talking about Judon being the leader for sacks in the entire NFL last year at one point. You know what I mean? He was on pace for that. So I love Judon. I love Barmore. I think they're both going to make a huge impact this year, and we're going to need Barmore to step up. We're going to need him to be the guy we know he can be if he continues to progress and if he makes a year 2 jump. That's going to help this defense out a lot, and we're going to need him creating havoc up the middle and really pushing the pocket and making quarterbacks uncomfortable to help this secondary out.
For sure. Well, let's move on. We got interceptions leaders next. Adrian Phillips was the my pick last year, I think, which I really liked, but JC Jackson just had a tremendous year. So Cole goes Adrian Phillips again. I go Jonathan Jones. What's your reasoning here?
I almost, who I almost went with? I almost went with Jack Jones.
I had it typed up and then I didn't send it.
Really?
I did.
I almost went Jack Jones. Not saying he's going to be a lockdown corner by any means necessarily. The aggressiveness and his instinct to find the football. He had a couple picks in his hands and he dropped them. So he's got to be more sure-handed. But in the preseason, you can see his ability to certainly, fire when as soon as that ball is out, he is reacting and he is shooting to the wide receiver and trying to make a pick, trying to get a pick six, whatever. I almost picked him. I almost wish I did. But Adrian Phillips, I feel like he's just always around the football. D-Mac is another guy that you could throw in there as well. But I don't know. I like Phillips. I think was kind of always up there in interceptions behind JC when he was here. So now that JC's gone, I'm going to say Adrian Phillips stays around the football and gets a few more picks.
Yeah, I love that pick. I also Bank says Kyle Duggar. I think that's another really good pick there. I don't know how involved he's going to be in the passing game. Obviously, he's going to have to guard some tight ends, but I think he's going to be a super box heavy guy. And I'd almost choose probably Devin McCourty to have more interceptions than Duggar. Duggar will get some, but with him not playing, in the post, unless he does a little bit, I don't see him doing that. So I went with Jonathan Jones, coming off an injury last year. And you want to talk about a guy that had a lot of opportunities. Just ask Cole, because Cole always picked in his hot takes that Jonathan Jones would have an interception, and he never did. And then the 1 week he didn't, he did have an interception. And then, he spent the rest of the year on IR. So I believe in Jonathan Jones. They're moving him out to outside corner. He's going to have a little bit more opportunities there. And, he's a guy that I think can be the next great corner that out of New England. And hopefully, we just signed him to a contract extension. So hopefully, he develops into that. He could be a great outside corner beside Jonathan Jones. But I have high hopes for behind with Jalen Mills, and then get the young guys Jack Jones coming up there. But I like Jonathan Jones. I really do think that he's going to have a big year.
All right, this is the tougher one right here. Is pick the number of interceptions for our interception leader. You go first.
Yeah, I had Jonathan Jones at 4. I would say maybe 5 would be the max for me, but 8 last year by JC Jackson's crazy. You can't predict that. So I'm going to go with 4.
Yeah, I'm going to say 3 or 4. I don't see anybody as being that much of a ball magnet on this defense, like as far as that goes in the secondary. So I'm going to say 3 or 4, but I feel like the interceptions we're going to get are going to be pretty spread out. So I don't think anybody's going to have numbers like JC. That's insane. So yes, less than 6 light shadows.
All right, let's move on. So after this, now we're into the game predictions, aren't we?
Yeah. Do you want to? Are we doing the over unders first, and then the score predictions and that stuff at the end?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So you can go first. What do you think's the best way to go? Where should we start?
We usually start with quarterbacks, right? And then running backs and go down.
Yes. So let's start with before we get into this, I got to do an ad read. So all these picks are coming to you by Underdog Fantasy, our sponsor. Underdog Fantasy. So these are the pick'ems off of Underdog, right? It's the easiest way to get some action on the NFL. It's Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just pick over or under on your favorite or least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your pick'em slips. Get every pick right and take home some cold hard cash. Use our code Patriots Drive, which is right here on the screen or in the bio, to get your first deposit matched up to $100. So Cole, I think in the preseason did a $20 bet on one of the preseason games. And you would have won $200 if you would have hit on it, and you were like one pick away.
Yeah, it was like 10 or 20 bucks. I did a 5-leg parlay, and I would have won $200, and I was half a yard away from winning the $200. So I was so close. JJ Taylor, the over under was like 28.5 yards, and I picked over, and he had 28 yards. So I was literally half a yard away from winning the $200. So yeah, this app is awesome. It's super fun. I highly recommend it, and it's a great opportunity. Even if you guys say, hey, you know what, I just want to put in $10, use the code Patch Drive and they'll match it. They'll give you another $10. So you get $20 to bet with. You can throw $5 here and there, whatever you want to do. But it's an awesome opportunity. They'll basically double your money that you're going to put in there, and then you guys can bet along with us. You guys can tell us what you think of these bets. But I think starting probably next week, we'll pull up Underdog and we'll start doing some of these slips for you guys and doing them with you guys. You can see what we're picking, and we'll each have our individual things that we're doing, obviously. But it's going to be fun. So I'm super excited about this partnership that we got going on here. And I think it's going to be really fun for us to do this year and see how the picks do and how we're doing overall.
For sure. And of course, it helps support the channel. Using our promo code helps support us, which we don't expect anything but to help keep growing and show your support. And then also we have the super chat available if you ever want to, donate a tip or something and then get your question highlighted. And we try to answer a ton of questions, but if you get a question in here, highlight, or if you get a question here highlighted, we're more entitled to read it and we will read it. So, and then like the Real Brava says, yes, it's legal in 40 of the 50 states. So it's not like a draft book. Like they definitely will let you on here, most likely. So that is way better than most draft books.
It's
and
way
exciting.
more widespread and accepted by way more states. Like gambling is not legal where I live, but Underdog Fantasy is. It's not the same sports book stuff. So I'm glad to have this. I'm glad to be able to do this. It's super fun website to use. I will say that. And it's not just football. If you like other sports too, I did a baseball one, a 5-leg parlay for the Red Sox, and I got 4 out of 5 on that too. So I almost won another $200 there. So it's super fun, but you'll see our bet slips. We're going to make one for each game starting probably next week just to get a feel for everything. And we don't have a ton of time since we had a lot to go over on this episode. So speaking of that, though, guys, go check that out. Use our code, and we will get right into it. For sure.
Well, let's get right into it. They have Mac Jones over under 227.5 yards.
I'm going to go under. I think it'll be close, but I'm going to go under just to start the season. We don't know what this team looks like. I think maybe we're losing later in the game and Mac gets past this, but I don't know. Our running game concerns me, which makes me think our passing game will be better, but this offensive line's been horrible. I don't have confidence that this offense is going to be firing on all cylinders, especially against a defense like Miami.
Yeah, that's tough. The run game, I don't expect to be top notch week 1 after all the reports we've heard. And that concerns you about the pass game.
I hope we're wrong. I hope they run for 200 yards. I hope everything we know from preseason is just thrown out the window and this team is dominant. That'd be amazing.
That'd be incredible. But I'm going to go with the over here. I do believe, that Mac's going to come out. He's going to throw the ball effectively, new targets, a lot of guys to throw the ball to. It's going to be tough because they have Damian Howard. They have a ton of great guys in the secondary. And if our pass blocking can't hold up, that will be scary. But I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. Our run game's not going to get too many yards, in my opinion. So I think our pass game has to get some.
Yep.
Let's
Rob
move.
says over and Light Shadow says over.
There we go. Well. That's what we like to see. So let's move on right here. Flip side of this, Tua. So say you were to do a 2-leg parlay, you could choose Max over, Tua's under. That would double your money. And then if you were to do 3 picks, it triples, 4 picks, it quadruples, 5 picks, it 5 times your money. So if you're adding on to all these picks, that'd be cool. But Tua, 233.5 passing yards.
I'm going to go over on this one. I just think, their weapons they have around them is ridiculous. So I think it's going to be tough for Tua to not have success this year.
Yeah, I'm going under too. Or sorry, you went over, right?
I went over. Yeah.
I'm actually going to go under. I think that the way that Miami plays and their RPO style. Now this might change with Tyreek Hill. He might be able to throw the ball down the field, but they want to get the ball out of Tua's hands fast, and that turns into a lot of little completions. So I'm actually going to have faith in this secondary that I thought was pretty dang good and surprised me in the preseason. I'm going to have faith in them. I'm going to go with the under here. And have Tua going for under 233.5.
All right, 2 different ones to start.
There, I like it. That's better than this record predictions. So let's move on though. Let's move to the running backs right here. We have Damian Harris. They have him over under 54.5 rushing yards.
So just to do an example of the Underdog Sportsbook. So if you bet over or under on Mac and then did the same thing on Tua for passing yards. Oh, I I think the line's going to change. Mac Jones is up to 237.5 for passing yards.
Really? I literally just made this like 4 hours ago. That's crazy.
I know. I don't know why that changed. That's odd. But so if you did that, like you said, it would go from 1x for one bet to 3x, and then 6x, 10x, 20x. So if you bet $10 on just an over-under for Mac Jones and an over-under for Tua, if you win, you get $30. You bet $50, you get $150. You add another pick in there, you bet $10, you're going to get 60. You bet $50, you're going to get 300. So it's especially if you know the team well, and we go through these every week, it's a great opportunity to have fun and make some good picks and make some money.
For sure. Well, Damian Harris, 54.5 rushing yards. I got the under here. Him and Ramondre will split carries, and maybe you'll see a couple from Pierre Strong. If Ty Montgomery's healthy, maybe you'll see some from him. But I don't have a lot of faith in the offensive line right now, so I'm going the under.
I'm going the under as well. I think it'll be close. Hopefully it's over, but 50 yards is not a lot. So taking the under here just shows you where we're at with this team right now. As far as we haven't seen it yet, so we don't know, but all we've seen is preseason and it's been ugly. So I'm going to say under as well.
Yep. Moving on, Chase Edmunds, their new running back. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Hill might have over 100 yards just on his own. He might. But that's the other thing is he might get 100, and, we'll see what the other guys do. So, but let's move on. Chase Edmunds, 45.5 rushing yards. He's their new addition in the backfield. Really the one guy that takes over as the lead back there. Yep. So what do you got here?
They got Mostert too, but I think Chase Edmunds is going to be more featured as a all-around player, and that's why I took him on my fantasy team the other day.
I have him too. I'm not going to lie. In one of my leagues. In one of my leagues, I do have him.
All right. I got Chase Edmunds going over on this. Even though the Pats rushing defense, I think is going to be better. I think eventually Miami's going to have a lead and have to run the ball, and I think they'll have some success. The RPOs and just I don't know what it is. The Dolphins just seem to have the Patriots number recently, and I got the over for that one.
Yeah, that's it's not a lot for a guy that probably will see the bulk of their carries. So yeah, I'm going with the over.
He'll be a factor in the passing game too.
He will. Sure. He will. So this would they didn't have a total yards one. This would have been maybe they do now. This would have been interesting to see what his total yards over under.
Yeah.
Then. But let's move on to the receivers. Devonte Parker played his old team right here. 43.5 receiving yards.
I'm gonna say over.
Yep.
I'm gonna say over. I'm gonna say he gets revenge on his team. I don't know though. Xavier Howard versus Parker. That's not great. But I'm gonna say over. I'm gonna have confidence in him having vengeance against his old team and breaking a play or making a big contested catch down the field and then just contributing the rest of the game a little bit. So I'm gonna go over and have confidence, but I kind of want to say under, but I'm
not. I totally agree with you. I have high expectations for Devonte Parker this year. Old team. I think that he's going to have a big week 1 game, and we know he's going to be healthy for week 1. So let him go out there and eat. I think that he's going to be a big factor, like I just said. So I'm going to the over here also.
Yep.
Let's move on to the other half of this. Tyreek Hill getting close to 68.5 receiving yards. This gets scary, and I know someone already mentioned it in the comments. He could have 100 yards on his own, and really it takes one play and you're probably at 50, maybe not 60 yards for Tyreek Hill with his explosiveness. So what do you got here?
I want to go over, even though I think they'll do a better job than some people think to contain him. I think Jalen Waddle is going to be the one who tears us up because I think we're going to put so much focus on Tyreek Hill. So I'm still going to go over. I think he'll have maybe 80 something yards. And then I think Jalen Waddle might be the one who actually ends up doing better just because of how much tension we got on Tyreek. So I'm going to go over.
Yeah. It scares me because we have fast, explosive guys, but they're inexperienced. I don't know who's going to guard him. We didn't have many guys that could guard him when he was with Kansas City. Not many guys in the NFL can guard him. So are you going to sit in a ton of zone coverage? And I know Bill Belichick has seen him enough where he knows how to stop him. So this is hard for me. I'm going to say the over also. I would like to see him go under because I think that if he goes under, New England has a really good chance at winning this game. But I'm going to go with the over also. So that sucks.
I think Jonathan Jones will cover him
Yeah.
For the most part. I think they'll play a lot of zone too, though. But I think when he's in man, I think Jonathan Jones will cover him and have McCourty over the top like they've done in the past.
Yeah, which, has worked at times and can also still eat you up. That's how good he is. So let's move on. So this is something that's cool about Underdog Fantasy. This is kind of their thing. So this is the rivals mode. So along with the pick'ems, they also have rivals. So you choose. So right now they have Mac Jones getting 1.5 more completions than Tua. So how this works is if you choose Mac, all he has to do is get 2 or more completions than Tua, and you get your money, or it's part of your pick 'em. You win the bet. Now, if you pick Tua, all he has to do is get 1 or more, or he could technically get 1 less than Mac Jones or more than Mac Jones, and you get your money on that. So this is kind of an interesting one. They say that Mac is going to have 2 more completions than Tua. Technically 1.5, but right, if he gets 2 more, that's how you're going to win it. So what do you have here? Do you think Mac is going to throw for more completions than Tua?
So if Tua gets 24 completions and Mac gets 23, Mac gets 24.5.
Yes. Yeah. So pretty much you take Tua's and you
take off 1.5.
Take off 1.5, and that would be yes.
I'm still going to go with Tua.
Really?
Yep.
I'm going to go with Mac here. I think that Mac is going to, with the way we think that this offense is going in the run game, I think that Mac is going to have more completions to him because we're going to have a ton of passing yards and we're going to have to be super productive like Mac was last year. So I'm actually going to go with Mac. Now that's kind of scary because Tua has so many pitch and catch throws. Like it's easy for him. It's just all RPO,
all short shit.
But he's still not the most accurate quarterback. So I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say Mac Jones.
Also, deep threat wide receivers. Now they got guys who can make big plays. So that would be, if you can get 50 yards on one play, that's a lot less completions than last year when that would have been 10 plays for the Dolphins just because of how many short throws, the RPOs, and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go with Tua.
Cool. You got a couple Tuas, got a couple Macs in there. So we got, about 50-50. That's good. So let's move on, though. Over-under on the game. We already gave our win or loss predictions, but now we got the Patriots, the Dolphins. The over-under is 46.5 points right here. We'll get into our score predictions, but this will kind of tell. But what do you got here? You have to look. Cole always has to do this.
I always have to do it. I always have to do this. I got the over, apparently, according to the graphic. I got the over on this one. It's close. I wanted to go the under, but I went over because the Miami's offense, I think, against our defense it's a tough first test for us for sure.
Yeah, I actually have the under. It's dang close. But I have the under. And we'll get right into it since we have this pulled up.
Be
right
positive.
Here.
All right, yeah, it is.
Okay, Cole. Cole, you only have it by 1 point. So Cole has the over under at 47. I have it at 45. So we're both dang close right there. Maybe we should be Vegas and setting the odds, or Underdog Fantasy setting the odds. But it was this low scoring game last year. Like there's a lot of explosive guys on the field, but it was a low scoring game. And I think both teams are going to have their kinks to work out. And there's going to be a lot of questions on, what both teams are going to want to run offensively, how they're going to stop things defensively. So I actually have the under. It's narrow, but I have Miami beating New England 24-21 in a close one.
Red Patriots got some confidence here, saying Pats win 31-29.
I hope so.
All these games usually seem to be low scoring between the Pats Dolphins, some ugly ones, some games that are just grinded out. I just feel like the additions they made on the offense side of the ball is just going to make it a little bit easier for their offense, and I think that's why they're going to end up going over the over-under spread on this one.
It could be, and I've seen New England be in a lot of close games, but it seems to be low-scoring close games, and that's what I tend for it to be right here. I don't know. New England doesn't really have the firepower. They haven't shown to have the firepower to win a game 45-41 or something like that. So I think that's going to be close in that respective. So, but that's going to wrap it up. That's our season predictions. New England will take on Miami week 1. I'm jumping to the Buffalo game at Miami.
Week 18 already. Holy.
I'm excited, baby. I'm excited. So, I guess we do have one more thing to do. And you guys can drop your comments down below and we'll do this real quick. Any hot takes? Anyone got any hot takes for the game? Just talking for the game right here. You got anything off the top of your head? And of course, if you guys have some, we'll read them to you guys, or we'll read yours in the comment section below. So go ahead and drop them down.
Jack Jones pick.
You're saying Mac Jones throws a pick?
No, Jack Jones.
Oh, Jack Jones. There's too many Joneses on the team. This is getting ridiculous.
Mac Jones gets an interception on the defensive side of the ball. Hot take.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna.
Somebody's got to stop Tyreek. Somebody's got to do it.
That's true.
Ooh.
What do we got? Do we got
Johnny Masterclass, 150 all-purpose yards. That would be such a great.
That would
way
be
to start
a
the year.
great sight to see for Patriots fans if he did.
I love that. Is it Bravis or Bravis?
The real Bravis. I'm gonna go Bravis.
Bravis. Okay. Maybe he can do the sound syllable it out for us. We can.
Pronunciation
wrong.
I'm gonna stick on the defensive side of the ball. I'm gonna go 2.5 sacks for just the whole defense.
That's it. Just 2.5. It's not like 8 or 10 or.
This team is gonna get the ball out fast, and
true.
If Tua holds on to the ball, I think that's where the sacks come. But that means you got to be hemming them up at the line of scrimmage. So I'm gonna go 2.5 sacks on the game. So anyone else, if you got some more, go ahead, drop them down. Do you have another one?
I like the real Bravis. I like that one.
Jonnu Masterclass.
That would be awesome. That'd be such a confidence booster for him after the year he had last year. Like that's probably more yards than he had the whole second half of the season. Like that would be great. That'd be really great. So I don't have any. Okay, here we go. Bratvis.
Oh, Bratvis.
Okay, Bratvis.
The
real Bratvis. Okay.
Real Bratvis.
There we go.
Okay.
See, he did it. That's exactly what I was talking about. That pronunciation thing. Right
Okay.
All
right.
I like it. There we go. Now we won't be saying his name wrong.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, but I got maybe Jack Jones interception. I would have said Terrence Mitchell forced fumble if he was, playing, but he's on the practice squad. So, and then outside of that, yeah, I don't got anything crazy. I guess Jonnu rushing touchdown, is that a hot take? I guess
that's hot.
Yeah, sure, we'll do that.
Light Shadow says hot take. Mac has 2 turnovers, 1 interception, fumble, and 2 to 3 sacks. Boo!
Negative Nancy Light Shadows. Come on.
I know that
where's the positivity here?
But man, that's rough.
I'm gonna say Dolphins have 8 sacks in the end. No, I'm just kidding. I was trying to go with some positive hot takes. If I was gonna do negative hot takes, I'd say Dolphins have like 5 sacks.
Wow. Yeah. That would be a negative hot take. So
it sure would.
That would suck.
Yeah, that would not be good.
So, but anyways, guys, that's unless you guys got any more, keep dropping them. I agree with Light Shadows right here, like always. Hit not hot. Sorry, that's the wrong one. He did it all in caps, so it made me click on that one because this one's all in caps too. But smash the like button for our channel. We're in a weekly routine. We got 2 shows a week. We're going live at mostly every Wednesday at the same time. It's going to be right around 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, give or take a little, before or after. And then Sunday nights or, whenever the Patriots play, we will be going live after the games to recap that. Make sure you guys follow our Instagrams, which are right on the screen right now. Yeah, real quick. Follow the Instagrams on the screen.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
Cole's misclicking. Follow the Instagrams right on the screen. That will keep you updated when we go live, or subscribe, turn the notification bell on. We really appreciate it. But Cole, anything else?
Nope. Just one more hot take from Rob here. Tua pulled in the 4th, hopefully because of bad performance, not because of they have too much of a lead. That would be unfortunate. But and then Light Shadow says, thank Isaiah Wynn for those turnovers. Oh, okay. Actually, yes, we do have something else. Thank you, Light Shadows, for not purposely reminding me of that. But injury report. We had Isaiah Wynn.
We did forget that.
We had Isaiah Wynn and Ty Montgomery and Jacoby Myers all participate at practice today. So Ty Montgomery back after that ankle injury. That's huge. Isaiah Wynn with a back injury. All of them were limited participants. So that's awesome news for Montgomery's ankle. I mean, we thought that one might have been season ending, like got carted off. That's never good. So some injury updates there. And then just keep follow Patriots with a 1 for the injury report every day, and I'm going to be posting it on my story. So just keep looking at that for updates throughout the week. But that's a great development.
That'd be good for my fantasy team if he got 5 field goals. But
I'd
that
rather
would
he
not be
has
good for the Patriots.
5 extra points.
That would also be good, but that would only be 5 points. But in the Patriots retrospect, that would be really good. So, no, I agree. So, guys, week 1, super excited. Gosh, what time the game's going to be at?
1.
It's 1 your time. It's 11 o'clock for me since I'm on the west. I'm on the mountain time zone, which is close to west. So I get 11 o'clock game. We were talking to Cole about this. Like Sunday night football for me starts at 6:30, gets over at 10. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
So,
that is awesome.
But yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Super excited to watch this team play. A lot of high expectations, and we'll see. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, we see you guys Sunday night after the game. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this with anybody's. Use our promo code at Underdog Fantasy, which is just Pat's Drive. So, Cole, wrap us up.
That's all I got. That's all I got too. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Like Jay said, we'll be live after the game. Hopefully after the first one of the season, going down the road. That'd be a great way to start the year. Winning in Miami, a place that's haunts us every year. So, like Jay said, use that code for Underdog. It's a great opportunity to match your first deposit up to $100. That's a good opportunity, and bet alongside with us all year. We're gonna start next week, like I said. So it's gonna be fun. But football's finally back tomorrow night. Bills Rams, go Rams. That'd be a great way to start the season too. Rams beating the Bills and then us beating the Dolphins. We'd be atop the division, so that'd be awesome. So, like Light Shadow says, we'll see you guys Sunday night.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Patriots Drive podcast. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with all things New England Patriots. Make sure you tune in to the next episode and check out patriotsdrive.com for more great content.
We're on to Cincinnati.